Going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another edition of Dangle Celly right here live on our FTN Network YouTube page, presented by PointsBet Canada. Chris Meaney here with you. As you can see, missing my partner in crime here this morning. Eric Young is not with me. He won't be here on Thursday either. That's okay. He did give me a couple goal scorers to share with you guys, and we'll have a guest lined up Thursday, but going to ride solo here with you today. So bear with me. We'll probably try to keep it quick paced here today. Start strong with some of my favorite plays. There's 10 games on the ice tonight in the NHL. George made us a little bit of a graphic here with all of the games, which I'll get plugged in here this morning. We do have a couple game boards here. Welcome in. If you're just new to the show, subscribe, smash that like button. You have any comments, any questions, leave them there. We'll address them on the show like we usually do. Could be a fantasy hockey question, could be an NHL betting question, could be favorite goal scorer tonight, a little bit of DraftKings, FanDuel, DFS in your life. You just want to talk hockey. Leave the question there. You can always reach out at Chris Meaney, meanstreetsftn@gmail.com. This show available on iTunes and Spotify as well. Love the recent push from you guys, the support from you guys as well. Eric and I have been doing this show for a couple of years. It dates back to our days over at The Athletic, 4-stack lines. And I know some of you have been with us since day one. So we really do appreciate your support. Let's try to win some cash here. We are doing pretty good over at ftnbets.com. If you're looking to be part of the family, you can use promo code Meaney, save yourself a little bit of cash. You get all picks from everybody across all sports, projections, tools. I know college basketball tipped off last night. The guys are super hot already. And some NFL, NBA betting models there for you guys as well. So we're going to get after it here in just one moment. Just want to say what up to the crew. And we'll start here with Jazz in the house. Hey, Pucksters, what's going on? He hit a 6-teamer last night, looking for more. Okay, here we go. Tampa Puck. What'd you have? Tampa over. You got some cats there. I don't know, man. It's too early for me to understand what those little. It looks like he had Tampa puck line, reverse puck line, I would say, because they did blow that lead last night to the Maple Leafs. Man, Toronto's the only team in the NHL where it could go two ways. And I'm tongue in cheek here, but after the first period, fire everybody. It's all over, burn it all down. And then they come back and win the game in overtime and, start the parade again. The Leafs are fine. But there is something going on with that team at the moment defensively, keeping pucks out of their net. But it was certainly a nice comeback. And as we head into November 7th, basically a month into the season, Austin Matthews has more goals than the San Jose Sharks, and we may just start there after we continue to say what up here to the people. Feeling sick. Good luck tonight, boys. Taking a few days off. Troy, all the best to you, my friend. Hopefully you feel better soon, and maybe some puck luck your way tonight. Make you feel a little bit better. Pascal in the house. Happy Sharks Day, everybody. At some point, this team has to win a hockey game. They got the Flyers tonight. They got Edmonton and Vegas later on in the week. Yikes. It doesn't look good. San Jose, the first team since the 60s to allow 10 goals in consecutive games. They're looking to avoid NHL history tonight. A loss tonight will be loss number 12 on the season, and no team has started an NHL campaign with 12 straight losses. Marco Rossi, plus 125 for a point, plus 350 for an assist. Where'd you find this? Couldn't find it this morning. Marco Rossi is in the Fantasy Hockey article. I'll have the link inside. There's 2 articles I wanted to share with you guys. I'll have links inside the description if George, I think George is going to add those to me, add those for the video today, or I'll jump in after post-show. A Fantasy Hockey article teeing up the week. 4-game streams, how to attack the schedule, light nights on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. You want to have some games, some players on those days to get the best of your opponent fantasy hockey. So we wrote up a couple, some deep leagues, some guys to buy low, sell high. But Marco Rossi was all over the article. And I know his Wild have a matchup tonight against the New York Islanders. Rossi recently promoted to the top line. He's been cooking lately. I was looking for some props on him. I could only find goal and power play points over at Bet365, I believe. So those are really good value, even though the matchup is tough. The matchup is tough because Sorokin's a really good goalie, but overall, the Islanders, they've given up the most scoring chances at 5 and 5 per 60. Sorokin, Semyon Varlamov's playing really well. Those goalies are protecting the poor 5-on-5 play really from the Islanders and giving up some quality shots and attempts inside the slot. So Rossi, I love that call. I wanted to talk about him today. I saw the shot prop. I put him and Riley Smith 1.5 from DraftKings. these guys to have 2 shots. But Marco Rossi at plus 125 for a point and plus 350 for an apple is some pretty good stuff right there. Emmerich, what's going on? Sup, guys? Can't wait for the goal scorers here. So again, no EY in the house. We're not going to have 300 of them, but he did give me a couple, and I have a few as well in the FTN betting article. It's free, and I'll share them here with you guys today. Columbus coming back from down 3-0 to score 4 answered, then losing overtime broke the heart. Yeah, it broke your heart. It was a nice comeback, though. It was a nice comeback. Marchenko getting going here a little bit. Seth in the house, I must have lost 5 parlays when they took away that 4th shot from Nylander last night. We were definitely on the wrong side of that, for sure. It was just an okay night last night. We had a really good Sunday, but we had Austin Matthews for the 5 shots. Man, this happened to us all year. Willie Nylander, a bunch of players that get the shot and then it's taken away from them pretty early on. But we don't need to go over last night too much. You guys are part of the family. You did see what went on. We have a bunch of picks in the tracker. Quinn Hughes, continue to just hammer Quinn Hughes, who is like 1 point away from leading the NHL in points. Unbelievable start for him. Elias Pettersson just had the apple last night, but the Oilers continue to, and the Oilers are in trouble. They're in trouble. They just looked like a really frustrated squad last night. McDavid was frustrated. He had a 10-minute misconduct last night from Leon Draisaitl. Evan Bouchard let us down. We got to grade a couple losses there. No point, no shots there for Evan Bouchard or Evan Rodriguez, but we're still over and over the 20-unit mark. We'll finish strong here, but Woodcroft, it's only a matter of time, right? Don't you guys think, before this guy's getting the axe? You know, in Ottawa and Toronto and in Edmonton, you know, maybe I hear more of it because I'm north of the border here, but it's not looking good in any of those cities. And I suppose that the Leafs will be fine. It's all about the playoffs, but they need to figure it out soon. And Tree Living may want to bring in his own guy, even though Keefe was just extended. But in Edmonton, there's the Nurse contract looks bad. The Campbell contract looks bad, so we can't give Holland a pass. But Woodcroft last night, you know, he got a bench minor and a 10. You know, if I'm a player on the squad, if I like the coach sticking up, and I'd like to see that, but on the outside looking in, I see like maybe frustrations. Did he lose the room? They need to figure this thing out in a hurry. Ultimately, they can't get a save. I know some people have reached out to me about the Oilers, and you know, I have a lot of friends in the Edmonton area. I used to live in Red Deer. It's a big hockey market, and the Flames are a mess too. So, but I think he's on the hot seat. I think that there has to be some sort of change. I don't know how much deeper you can go. You know, if you're in a playoff spot by American Thanksgiving, you're making the playoffs about 66% of the time. And they're nowhere close at the moment. So they need to kick it up into high gear right now. But man, that was a bummer about Nylander. Good morning, Richard. Welcome in. Nylander every night with Vancouver over team totals. Yeah, I mean, Nylander didn't hit last night, not the shot prop, but he has been hitting the score sheet every night. We know that. He's had a point in every single game here tonight or this season. Barry Trotz's defensive team era is over at the Islanders. Absolutely, yeah. They're not the same squad anymore. So everybody seems to be in the house. So we'll get going here with some picks. We're about 10 minutes in. We haven't gotten going here, but we want to say what up. Lutesta is Samsonov droppable in season long. Man, you know what? I got some shares as well. It really does depend on what you have available on the waiver wire. Like, I don't think I would pick him up for just an average goalie. I think he's going to turn things around, but it's probably going to be a split the rest of the season between him and Wall. I'm trying to think of goalies that could be out there and could be available for you. Vejmelka or Ingram, maybe one of those two. But I still feel like the Samsonov ceiling is higher than Ingram's. He's been playing pretty decent. Vejmelka has been just hot and cold. Since we're here to answer some questions that you guys have. A lot of people are jumping in here now. We're going to get to the picks in just 1 second here, guys. Are going to help out with just take a look at some ownership projections of maybe goalies that could be available for you. I have some shares, and I know I wrote him up as a target, so that is on me. I believe he's a buy low candidate. Like, would I drop him for John Quick? Quick should be rostered, and with Igor Shesterkin not 100% at the moment, but it's just a backup goalie. It's not a long-term thing. It's like a short fix. Like Reimer and Quick, these guys are playing pretty good. Varlamov's going to get the start here tonight, so like that's a guy that I would consider. I hate to drop them this early into the season, but goalies are pretty important in fantasy hockey, certain formats where it could be 4 of your 10 categories, and you're definitely not getting it done with him. So I mean, you can make the switch for Varlamov, and maybe you just start to stream the position, or maybe drop a fourth defenseman you don't like for another goalie, and maybe ride the course here and see if he can kind of get going. But man, I probably wouldn't drop him for a quick or for a rhymer. I just don't see. I think it'd hurt you long term. Dostal, no chance. Bennington, no. Ingram getting the start tonight against Seattle. Jake Allen, no. I mean, I would just ride the course. Let me know what goalies are available in your season long league, and maybe he can help you guys out there. Okay, let's no chance I would roster any Chicago goalies. Just wouldn't happen for me unless I was in a league with that allowed a lot of saves, points for saves. Okay, we're gonna start with the obvious. We're gonna start with what has just racked us up a ton of units. Over at FTNBets.com, we are 30-14 over 20 units won on sides. We have been picking on the San Jose Sharks here. We've been doing puck line. We've been doing in 60, a couple units on in 60, a couple units on puck line. Teams win by 3-4. We've been racking up some point props, shot props, power play props. And, the San Jose Sharks may win tonight. At some point, they are going to win a hockey game. And it may be tonight, but I'm still going to go after a lot of the props. So I'm going to start here with a couple things that I put in the tracker already. And again, the win may come. You guys want to put your hard-earned bucks on the Sharks? By all means, go for it. I'm going to continue to ride a trend here, and I'm going to ride with the Philadelphia Flyers. And hey, if San Jose beats Vegas, good on them. If they beat the Oilers later in the week, then we may just see that coaching change. We may just see the change behind the bench in Edmonton. But there's a lot that I put in here. I'll start with the sides, and I'll reference the free article over at ftnbets.com where I talked about a couple of their players. So last night, Flyers in 60 at -130 over at DraftKings. Puck line at +130. But it's about Cam Atkinson for me at over 2.5 shots at -120. It's what I led with in the article. He's been one of our favorite players in terms of shot props all year long. We've been going to Cam Atkinson, so just want to do a timestamp. We didn't get into the picks until 12 minutes here. I need EY to keep me in line. So 2.5 shots he's cleared in 8 of the 12 games. He's averaging 3 shots per game on the season. Just happens to be one of the best matchups, right, on the slate, and maybe of all time, the way that this team is playing right now. And Tortorella is going to get these guys going. It's not like a good team going into San Jose and just, we'll just, glide through and go through the motions. And I know the Sharks had a team only meeting, and they're going to bring it. And they do have some okay players, but I just look at their blue line, and it's just so bad that if we don't get the points, the shot attempts should at least be there. As I mentioned earlier, first team in the NHL since the 60s to allow 10 goals in consecutive games. A loss tonight, they'll be on the wrong side of NHL history. They're on pace to have like a record-setting goal differential. They enter tonight -43, 12 goals in 11 games. Austin Matthews has more goals than the entire San Jose Sharks squad. Think about that for a minute. Austin Matthews has more goals than the entire San Jose Sharks squad so far this season. They've copped up the third most shot attempts, the second most shots, the second most scoring chances at 5 and 5 per 60. No team has surrendered more high danger chances than them or goals at 5 and 5 per 60 from natural stat trick, 4.13 per goals or per hour at 5 and 5. So again, the attempts should be there for Cam Atkinson. He may even hit the score sheet. He's got 9 points in 12 games. So in the bet tracker, we have Cam Atkinson over 2.5 shots -120. It is our free bet of the day here today, and it's the one I'm leading here with you guys. We have him for a point at -120. Over at DraftKings, we have Travis Konechny over 2.5 shots at -150 at DraftKings. That one's a little steep. But I'm willing to drink the juice here. And there is something to be said about when these teams get up in games, they will rest some of their players. I've seen it already. You know what, guys? I've watched almost every Sharks game. I'm a late night hawk. Clearly have an issue betting a lot of NHL props. I don't think it's an issue. I think it's I think I'm okay here. I think we're doing all right. And I think you guys like it. So you guys are true psychos like us. But I'm watching these Sharks games late at night. I have a lot of these like crazy 34, 50-1 same game parlays. Almost hit a 50-1 the other night. We need another point from Crosby. It was like a 10 leg. Maybe I should have just had the Crosby assist. But those were good teams. Like Vancouver and Pittsburgh were really good teams. They scored a bunch of goals, and then they rested some guys. They put their second units on, they put their fourth unit on. So there is something to be said about, in the future, like maybe we think about this when the Oilers and the Golden Knights play San Jose, that maybe they'll take the pedal off the gas and the shots won't be there and the points will be there. But I just think one of the two got to hit, and maybe both. And for Philly tonight, if they don't score a bunch of goals, I just feel like maybe the attempts and the shots will be there. So you could say, yeah, Konechny scores a couple goals early and then stops shooting, but hey, he scored and got some points. So that's my reasoning behind all of this. The Sharks are going to be historically bad here this season. I don't see them turning things around. When Couture gets in the lineup, it will help. They just don't have the personnel here. So Atkinson for a point at -120. Konechny over 2.5 shots at -150. A bit of juice there. Owen Tippett for a point at -115. I got Travis Sanheim for an assist at +140. You get better odds if you just near even money if you want to go for the point. But I think if the point comes, it's probably the assist. Atkinson for a goal here tonight at +148. And then I got some power play props here for you as well, because the Sharks, they have the third worst penalty kill in the NHL. They're operating at 67%. They're just taking a lot of penalties. Again, they just don't have the personnel. They're running around in their own zone quite often. Tort's going to get these guys playing too. The effort should be there for Philly. So Atkinson for a power play point at +340. Konechny for a power play point at +300. Travis Sanheim for a power play point at +400. And then I'm going to have some fun here with some same game parlays for those that are over at Bet365. You guys can get this done over there. Konechny, Atkinson, and Tippett all for 3 shots. That's +375. So we have the shot, same game parlay with the shots. The attempts are there. Maybe the goals don't come, but the attempts are there. And then another one where Konechny, Atkinson, Tippett, and Sanheim all register 1 point. That's +625 over at Bet365. So I think that's pretty good odds, man. That's the first power play unit for the Flyers. 625 +625. I'm a psycho, so I'll do like Atkinson, Konechny, Tippett, Sanheim with the shots, and that one will probably play, over 10-1, 12-1. But I think the point when, if you don't want to include Sanheim, if you just want to go Konechny, Atkinson, if you just go Konechny, Atkinson, that's plus money right there in itself. You put a unit on that, then the more you put on, the less you wager. So Konechny, Atkinson, maybe a unit. Konechny, Atkinson, Tippett, maybe half. Konechny, Atkinson, Tippett, Sanheim, maybe 0.25, maybe 0.10 if you include the shot props. I also like Scott Lawton as well, centering that top line. I think you could just have some fun here with the Philadelphia Flyers here tonight. Let's ride this one out and see what we can get here. So I'm going to continue on. I see some comments here. I'll try to address any questions. I can filter through some of this stuff towards the end. Couture is injured. Yes. I don't know if he's going to suit up tonight. Carter Hart is also hurt. It's a possibility. Like, the Sharks win this game. Again, they're going to win a hockey game at some point. But I'm riding here. Even though I like the puck line and in 60 for the Flyers tonight, I like these props a little bit more. The Atkinson shot props at Konechny and these guys to hit the score sheet here tonight. So I rambled on for about 6 minutes, about 6 minutes here on the Philadelphia Flyers. So let's continue to get going here. We'll move over to the next matchup. Let's stick with the late night action here tonight with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And by the way, the Sharks are +167 at home. It doesn't even feel like it's good. That's good odds. Maybe take a stab on them when they play Vegas or Edmonton. I don't know. I'm going to be on Philly tonight. Okay, so Anaheim here next, +167, and the Penguins at -175. We have a goal total of 6.5. I put that one in the tracker this morning at -120 over 6.5. Wow, the numbers changed. There's some sevens out there. Unibet and Bet Rivers have -125 for the over 6.5. That's not bad. DraftKings has -142 and Bet365 has -140. So it's a little steep there. I like goals in this game. I think we're going to see some offense between the Penguins and the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks are playing some pretty good hockey. They're 7-4, 14 points. They've won 6 straight games. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're 4-2 on the road. They're scoring some goals. I like, man, Mason McTavish just seems to touch the score sheet almost every single night. I wanted to start there with some Ducks. So Mason McTavish for a point tonight at +115 over at DraftKings. We have Frank Vetrano. I'm going to write these ones down. to recap at the end for the peeps. Mason for the point at plus 115. DK, I know they got Killorn back in the lineup, but Vetrano and Mason McTavish, man, these guys have been so good this season. And Frank Vetrano, we had at minus 130 late last night for 2.5 shots. I see minus 150, minus 145 now. If you can get a decent price, we'll put them into the prop shop. We got a link inside the description of this video that can take you to the prop shop. It's a free tool, and you get the best possible number. It's like Google search, man. They just show you all the books, and you can just see the difference in prices, and it saves you time and it saves you cash. For example, Frank Vetrano, BetMGM minus 135 for 3 shots. Bet Rivers minus 162, DK minus 150. So the line has moved from 130 to minus 150, and Bet365 at minus 140. So again, why wouldn't you take the minus 135 as opposed to the minus 162 if BetMGM is available for you? For a point for Vetrano, he's plus 110. So we get plus 110 for the point. McTavish plus 115 for the point. And maybe even the assist, right? I mean, he's plus 250 for an assist. He's plus 425 for the power play point. I'm not super impressed with the Penguins winning and beat the Sharks. We just talked about the Sharks. The Penguins haven't been impressive really at all. They're 4-6. They have 8 points. Like, great. They beat the Sharks. They have a plus 5 goal differential by putting up 10 goals in their last game. So I think we're going to see some offense. Wouldn't be shocked if we're looking for an upset here tonight. A home dog in the Anaheim Ducks is playing pretty good hockey at the moment. But I do like some of these props. Riley Smith. Riley Smith is the second play for me in the article. Started with Atkinson, gave some bonus plays there, some long shots, and then Riley Smith at minus 105 over at DraftKings. Love this one a lot. Some of these shot props are really juiced. I've just been going to some point props. George is hanging out now with us. Put this one on your card, buddy. Riley Smith minus 105, an impressive 6 goals, 11 points in his first 10 games as a Penguin. He's fresh off a 4-point game. He picked up 2 points on the power play. Out of those 4 games, he showed chemistry right away with Evgeny Malkin and recently placed on the first power play with Malkin, with Crosby, Gensel, Carlson. That's awesome. That's what you want to hear, especially when you hear that the Anaheim Ducks have taken the most penalties in the NHL. So this team is finding ways to win hockey games despite taking the most trips to the penalty box in the sin bin. You're going to get a couple power plays here for the Penguins. So we like Riley Smith at 5-5 with Evgeny Malkin, but we like him on that power play with some of these guys as well. So his shot prop is juiced. Again, minus 150 for 2 shots. I like it. I put him in a parlay with Marco Rossi, who's also at 1.5, roughly minus 160. But Riley Smith, if you want to drink a bit of that juice, and then also a little bit of a sprinkle on the power play point at plus 360 over at Bet365 for the PTP. Mason McTavish point plus 115 for Vetrano over 2.5 shots. Other things I like, I'll do some same game parlays with this one too. If you guys are subscribed over at FTN Bets, I'll have a couple in there. I'll jump into the Discord. I'll probably, Crosby burned me. He really burned us all from a 50-1 same game parlay, but I may go back to him. May do like, you could always do Rust and Smith and maybe Raquel revenge spot, for those guys just to pick up the point. And then for the most part, if Crosby gets 2, Gensel gets 2. I saw Gensel at plus 180 for 2 points. I think that's terrific value. He's been shooting the puck a lot. I also like him to have 4 shots tonight. If I'm picking a goal scorer in this game, it would be Gensel. It would be Vetrano. And then you can, go deeper maybe with McTavish or Riley Smith, maybe Ricard Raquel. But some sort of same game parlay with the big boys in Pitt, then maybe the boys in Anaheim, and then maybe combined it. And instead of the 2 points for a Malkin, for a Crosby, for a Gensel, maybe you just do like an assist or you avoid those guys. But there's, I think, a lot here to like in this spot. Daily Handle. Good morning, means everybody. Welcome in. Okay, let's continue to ride here. Let's go back up at the top of the board. We'll go to Montreal. The Canadiens are at home, plus 128 against the Tampa Bay Lightning at minus 135. This number's really moved for the Lightning there. Oh, by the way, we had this beautiful board from George, from our guy Fox, usually from George. Sorry, George, not today, buddy. But yeah, we got Raquel on the board. Do you have the other one? With Wemby? Do you have that one? No, that was just sent to me. That's great. My parlay, Pierre-Luc Dubois. No Pierre-Luc Dubois on the ice tonight, so maybe your parlay will be okay. But be careful when you go with Cam Atkinson and Riley Smith. So yeah, just Mason McTavish on the board here. Look at that smug look, man. He's playing good hockey. Oh baby. And then Ricard Raquel with the fun revenge spot there. I think this can be a fun game. I'm going to attack it from a DraftKings standpoint. I'm going to have some shares of a lot of different players here in this contest. I know a lot of people will go to Philadelphia, and we're probably going to get, this game maybe under-owned, and maybe a couple other ones that we can talk about here in a second. We'll switch over to Tampa Bay and Montreal. Cole Caulfield, Nikita Kucherov. Nikita Kucherov is on one, right? He's on one at the moment. He's got 9 points in his last 2 games. He had 5 points the other night against the Sens. Last night he had 4 points. I think they all came in the first period against the Maple Leafs. George put Braden Point on the board to try to jinx him against my Habs. You know what? It's not going to happen tonight. Braden Point's going to get it done. Nikita Kucherov and the Lightning are going to get it done. I'm surprised this line has moved considerably. You see the minus 152 on the board. I put it in last night. Wish that I hung around a little bit longer. I see minus 135. We should get Jake Allen between the pipes tonight, which is good news for the Canadians, but they're starting to come back down to earth, right? This is what we thought. They're playing good hockey to start the season. They went on a 3-game West Coast trip. I thought they played really good in Vegas. I thought they should have won that game. They played okay against Arizona, but they found a way to lose it 3-2, and then they lost to the Blues 6-3, and the Blues are on the second half of a back-to-back. The Habs they're so undisciplined. They just take too many penalties. They live inside the penalty box, the third most penalties taken. Last year, they were among the leaders as well. They're not disciplined enough, and the penalties are just, they're so bad. I mean, unfortunately, I watch this team play every night, basically. So even though it's the second half of a back-to-back, I still think that the Bolts, find a way to win this game. And the fact that we're getting them at minus 135, I get it. Second half of a back-to-back, play the Leafs team last night in overtime. I still don't care. I like Tampa here tonight. And I think that probably with the line movement in 60, I think this game could go to overtime. I was hesitant to put in 60 because I just thought to myself, you know what? It could go to overtime because of the fact that it's the back-to-back, but I always attack teams after a road trip, going back home, especially a West Coast team going to the East Coast, and then playing a team like Tampa Bay. It's possible that this game could go to overtime, but even if it does, the 3-on-3 play from Tampa Bay, it'll just be too much for the Canadians. It'll be over in a hurry. So Tampa minus 135 on the money line, but plus 110 we're getting at 3 to win in regulation. I think that's a pretty good price. Last night put in Nikita Kucherov at plus 125 for 2 points. Now he's plus 105 at DraftKings for 2 points. I still like the number. Just the run that he's on. He's got 20 points in 12 games. He's got 9 points in the 2 games. So I still don't mind the plus 105, but Brandon Hagel here, minus 125 for a point. He scored his 7th goal of the season last night. He added an assist. He's got 12 points in 12 games this season. He logged a season high 22 minutes last night. The minutes may come down here in the second half of the back-to-back, but it doesn't hurt that he plays alongside Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point. Like this line, I think, will hit the score sheet here tonight. And Tampa Bay, speaking of their power play and the Habs living in the penalty box, operating at 33% to start the season. It's the second best mark in the NHL of the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Victor Hedman for a point at minus 110. Victor Hedman for a power play point at plus 285. Kucherov for 2 points at plus money. Brendan Hagel for the point at minus 125. And then Brendan Hagel for an assist at plus 175. I think Braden Point scores a goal here tonight. A lot of comments here on the Montreal and Tampa Bay game. Hammerhead, love it. Continuing to give us some plays here. Yeah, there it is. Pierre-Luc Dubois and George's parlay. Can we just look at that picture again for a second? This is crazy. This is insane. Wemby and Kevin Durant, the size. Oh man. And the hype is it's real and it's warranted. As a big man who can dribble and go to the rim and just take a deep shot like that, it's impressive. He's mixed in with a bunch of just different guys, like a Kevin Durant and a LeBron and Bird and Dirk. And I don't know. I think he's the best big man to shoot a 3 since Dirk. I mean, call me a homer if you want, but I think I'm right. Kucherov's been firing of late. I like the over 3.5. Yeah, he has been. That's the one thing with Kucherov. You never know if he's going to shoot it or he's going to pass it. Flyers at 6.5. We could visit some stuff like that in the 6.5. Yeah, I don't know if it happens tonight with the Flyers, but it's kind of worth sprinkles, and it will be all year long. And if you've done it over the past couple of days, I mean, it doesn't matter what you win the rest of the month, right? You hit a couple of those, and you were just, I mean, it's just been cleaning up units or at the moment against this San Jose team, and it's been all year. Just gonna have some fun with the alternate puck line here. Where's because books are going to adjust. They just haven't been able to figure it out at first. So let's see. Okay, here we go. Oh, you can't even DraftKings is the most you can do is -3.5. Bet 365 will allow a little bit more than that. For them to win by four goals tonight is plus 390. The Flyers. I have some other books I think that will offer a little bit more than that. I know Bet 365. I was like 6.5 the other night. It's not Chris in France. We've seen it coming. Yeah, Wemby. My goodness. Yeah. Holy crap. 8-foot wingspan. PTP. This guy, Wemby, he is nuts. I wish we can get like an under 18.5 and San Jose wins the season. Yeah, it's we have in the bet tracker the under points, and I forget what I put it in. It doesn't matter now. I thought it was like 67 or 70. That one I feel pretty good. I think this team's gonna win like 15 games. I think they're going to be historically bad. Anyways, enough about the Sharks. We talked about them so much that I feel like maybe they win a hockey game here tonight. FanDuel, this is totally worth a sprinkle all year long, and it's not just recently that they've lost like big time. I didn't go back to earlier. I mean, we've been doing this stuff all year long. The 6-0 Tampa Bay 6-0. The Carolina one we did, that was just 3-0. But the thing is like they just don't score goals. 1-1-3 against Carolina, 1-1-1 shutout, 1-1-2. Like Blackwood's good. You know, he's a really good goalie, actually. He can only do so much. So yeah, I mean, this kind of stuff, T-Res, FanDuel, to win by 7 at 50-1. That's 50-1. My goodness, that's wild. So yeah, I mean, have some fun with that kind of stuff. I mean, no, we're not saying that they're going to give up another 10 goals here tonight, but we got to do a couple sprinkles on that stuff all year long. You guys don't need me to tell you that. Okay. Well, then we wrapped up with the Habs and the Lightning. I think Braden Point scores a goal tonight, but Bolts win. Okay, Minnesota and the New York Islanders here. I mentioned Marco Rossi at the top of the show. Again, I can't find a lot of odds for Marco Rossi. What do we got here? Only thing I could find is plus 340 for a power play point for Rossi. He was all over the article. I think he's a hot waiver wire pickup. I think he's a good waiver wire pickup. I hope that he stays on the top line with Boldy and Kaprizov. If he doesn't, I would like to see Hartman on that third line. I know he's off to a good start, but let's see what the kid has, right? Marco Rossi, he's a former top 10 pick, hasn't played a lot of hockey, has dealt with some off the ice issues, some injuries, and he's playing right now. And not only is he playing, like if you look at the game log to start the season, 13-11, 13-15, 15, 13-15, those are the minutes. The last couple games, 18-16, back-to-back games of 20 minutes, played a 22-44, which is a season high. And, off the top of my head, I would imagine that was probably a career high for him in ice time. He's got goals in back-to-back games. He's got 4 goals over his last 6 games. He's got points in 5 of those 6 games. He doesn't have a power play point yet, but he is on that first power play. In fact, he's quarterbacking that first power play in Minnesota, and you want to play with Matt Boldy and Krill the Thrill, Dollar Bill Kaprizov. So I like him tonight in DFS. I know it's Varlamov, and he's been good, but as we addressed earlier in the show, this is not your same Islanders. This isn't a team that is just stingy. They're allowing a lot of rubber. They're allowing a lot of high danger chances, and their goaltending has been really rock solid, especially Varlamov to start the season. But Marco Rossi here, he's 4-1 to score a goal. He's 27-1 to score the first goal. If we can get if your book allows it, P.S. Let me know. I'm limited here, Far East and Scotia, but I didn't see him on 365 this morning. He may pop up later in the afternoon. He may pop up on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is pretty good, actually. If there's a player that you like that's not there, and you tell them, they'll put it on. At least that's what they told me. So maybe I'll reach out and get a Marco Rossi. I reached out last year to them about putting one on. I was like, hey, I forget who it was. I really like this guy. Can you start putting his shot prop or point prop up? And then we all bet it and he didn't do anything. And they're like, yeah, I'll put this up every night if you're going to tell people to bet it. Anyways, Rossi getting a real opportunity here tonight. I like this. I like the 1.5. You put that into a parlay win with Riley Smith. He can find a point, score a goal, a little bit of a sprinkle on the power play point there at plus 340. On the other side, there's two guys in the Islanders that are shooting every night, and it's Bo Horvat and it's Brock Nelson. So those would be the two guys that I would go to here. I don't like a lot of goals. I think that under probably hits, but I would imagine that is gone. There's still a couple sixes out there, minus 120 for the six. I think it's a low scoring game here tonight. All right, Colorado and the New Jersey Devils. The other guy that I talked a lot about in the FTN fantasy article was Dawson Mercer. So unfortunately, Jack Hughes is sidelined week to week. That's a big bummer. It's a big bummer for NHL fans, for us that have Jack Hughes to lead the NHL in points and to win the Hart Trophy, and fantasy owners, but most of all, Devils owners and just NHL fans in general, because Jack Hughes just so good. Just so good. And unfortunately, just not able to stay healthy here at the moment. Let me take a quick little sip here. Put this board up. It's just coffee. There's no Baileys in it, although there probably should be. Dawson Mercer. I think he's a good pickup. Opportunity here. We had a 2-unit play on him to pick up a point over the weekend. He was placed on the top line with Timo Meier and with Tyler Toffoli. Nico Hischier is still sidelined as well. So I don't know. We're recording here pretty early. Morning skates are not wrapped up. I see that the Devils. Okay, so I see in the late part of that game, they did mix things up a little bit. So we did start with Timo Meier and Toffoli, according to Natural Stat Trick. Saw a little bit of Toffoli, Bratt, and McLeod, and Palat, Mercer, and Timo Meier. Nonetheless, the injury to Jack Hughes is good news for Dawson Mercer. They're still without Hischier, who's going to come back soon. And when Hischier comes back, he'll be the number one center on the team. But Mercer should be the second line center. So he should either play with a combination of Bratt, Toffoli, or Meier here for the next few weeks. So he's a short-term pickup in season-long leagues, and he's somebody to attack in the prop market, just because books are going to take a little bit to adjust, because I think the other night he just picked up his first point of the season, but we had 2 units on the point and he scored. He's plus 110 for a point here tonight. And this isn't a great matchup, but if he's going to play like PP1, he's going to play alongside Timo or Brad or Toffoli, and get a boost in ice time. You just got to take advantage of the usage rate here. Plus 110 for the point, plus 230 for the assist is pretty good. Shot props juiced. Like, what are we? Minus 250 for 2 shots, bet 365. Smoke another one. And maybe for an anytime goal at plus 350 for a goal there. Not too bad. Again, I think he's a good pickup here tonight. Michael McLeod could be a decent little, punt play in DFS. But ultimately, I like I don't think even McLeod has a point prop to his name. Whoa, plus 550 for a goal. Man, you guys want a long shot. McLeod playing with Toffoli and Bratt. Plus 550 for a goal. He's 31-1 for the first goal of the night. Wow. I thought I'd come in here and talk more about the Avs than the Devils, but there really is an opportunity for these two guys. I'm not saying that there's strong bets. I like Mercer. I like Mercer to pick up a point, and it's probably via the assist. But point, assist, power play point or anytime goal, rather, plus 350, pretty good odds. But McLeod at plus 550 for a goal or a first goal, like 31-1, good sprinkle. But ultimately, I like the Avs. I like the Avs. I put in the tracker Avs in 62 to play for me at minus 110, and then for them to win on the puck line at plus 145. The reason if we had Heischer and we had Hughes, this would be a good game, and it still may be a good game. And the Devils are a good team. They can overcome this for a little bit, kind of ride the storm here with McLeod and Mercer. The defense is still good and the goaltending has been inconsistent, but ultimately they're without their top two centers tonight, going up against the Avs in Colorado, against Georgiev, who's been pretty much rock solid all year long. So I'm going to take advantage of a depleted Detroit team or New Jersey team, and I'm going to take Colorado here, on the money line and the puck line and in 60 and on the muck line. Wow. In 60 and then puck line. That's probably my cue to get going and get the hell out of here. Only a minus 43 goal differential. In fact, on pace for the worst ever goal differential there. Fantasy hockey question, Troy. Okay. Hughes, Laine, Shabbat, Velarde on IR. Who do I drop? My D-men are Yossi, Heiskanen, and Bouchard, Dobson, Matheson. You got a lot of D. I don't think you need that much D. I don't know how deep your league is. I only like to carry, if you have to roster 3D, if to start 3D, I like to carry 3, maybe 4. If you have to play 4, I think 4 max and then maybe 5. I get it. You got a lot of good D here. You don't want to drop this to your league mates, but I think you need to have more forwards than defensemen. Man, you got some good dudes there. I would probably drop Velarde at the moment. Fantasy hockey question: Hughes, Laine, Shabbat, Velarde. Who do I drop on IR? Who do I drop my demon? I probably would drop Velarde. Nobody's going to rush to pick him up, but he's just a guy that I had a feeling about, a hunch about as a breakout campaign. I think when he gets back, he takes a spot on the top line with Scheifele and Connor. He looked good on that top line, but I would probably just drop him or Shabbat. Like, Shabbat wasn't doing a whole lot anyways. He wasn't on that first power play. He just you could get by with no Shabbat or no Velarde for a little bit. No, you don't want to drop Laine. You definitely don't want to drop Hughes. Try to make a trade, man. And I know people aren't going to be like, oh, give me Matheson or Minty or Dursey or even Dobson. You may have to just trade one of Yossi or Heiskanen. You could get by the rest of the season with a Heiskanen, Bouchard, Dobson, Matheson, and one of like Minty or Dursey. Yeah, I think you just want to have more forwards, man. The ceiling is just higher for those forwards. And I say this in football all the time. You got 2 quarterbacks, trade the bigger name and ride with the other guy because you're going to get more in return for the bigger name there. Oh, so you guys start 6? Awesome. I like that. You got the best 6 in the league, I'd say, without even looking at anybody else. I'd say you got the best 6 in the league. So yeah, different. It's okay. I like it. It's kind of cool. Dustin in the house. Any young defenseman I should try to trade for in standard Yahoo 5x5? I'm looking to unload Point or Connor. I have too many forwards. You're looking for like a keeper or, like a for somebody for your dynasty league. I mean, Luke Hughes comes to mind as a nice young defenseman that maybe you could get. You would lose that deal this year, but moving forward in the future, it does seem like a good one. Yeah, dynasty. It's a good one to get. Hamilton's going to continue to get older, and then you get Luke Hughes. When Jack Hughes is in the prime, and Devils are going to be good for years. They got a lot of guys locked up and a lot of nice young pieces up and coming still on that squad. Okay, let's go to Seattle and Arizona here. The Kraken and the Arizona Coyotes. A couple guys on my radar here. We'll start with the Kraken. A few guys have been playing in DFS, and I think they're still very good DFS plays because they're still underpriced. And they've mixed it back up again. So I've been riding Yanni Gourde, Ellie Tolvanen, and Jared McCann in DFS, but they got Bjorkstrand back in the line, and that's fine. It's still like that trio. They're underpriced. It just like allows you to spend up. Maybe you want to spend up on Colorado tonight because I think in DFS people will go to the Flyers. They'll attack Pittsburgh and Anaheim. At least they should be looking at those teams. I think maybe we'll get Tampa Bay low owned, but Colorado may kind of go under the radar here a little bit. Because it's the Devils and, they don't check out in DraftKings. It's like a good matchup, but missing the 2 top centers there could be a good one. But, you can mix like a expensive line or 2 expensive players with some of these other guys like Tolvin and Yanni Gord and Bjorkstrand. I think Gord hits the score sheet. They got McCann back with Matty Beniers, and they have Yamamoto on that top line, but I'm not too interested in Yamamoto. He didn't do anything at times with Draisaitl and McDavid. Watch him score tonight. But over on the Arizona side of things, at some point, Barrett Hayton is going to score a goal. I'm done betting on him, but he is still on that top line with Nick Schmaltz and Clayton Keller, and he's still on that top power play as well with Logan Cooley and Sean Dursey there as well. Lawson Krause has been on my radar. This was a guy that I wrote up as an undervalued piece in bangers leagues. He likes to shoot and throw his body around. His shot prop I like at 1.5, but it's just too juice at -160. I think I put him into a parlay, but +115 for a point tonight for Krause, and he's +240 for an assist tonight. I just really think that the past couple games I've watched, I've just really noticed him and Celly. I just thought it's been a pretty good duo on the second power play unit together, and also 5-5 together. He's +575 for a power play point too. The one thing is he is on the second unit, but he's got goals in 3 straight games. He's got 2 power play points in his last 4 games. He comes in riding a 4-game point streak with 6 points over that span and 4 goals. So Lawson Krause, pretty sneaky, maybe in DFS, him and Machelli, maybe in Bet365, both of those guys to pick up a point here. And I'm going to lean with the Kraken to go in and win the hockey game. I think that they're playing a little bit better. I know they started off the season not scoring any goals, but they have won 2 of their last 3 games. They lost to the Flames the other night, but they beat Tampa. They beat Nashville. I think this should be a good one. I mean, I like both of these teams. I'm a sucker for both squads. I could see this one going to overtime and maybe to a shootout tonight, but I'll lean with the Kraken. But definitely think that Clayton Keller is good for an anytime goal here tonight. Nick Schmaltz for an assist. That top line has those 2 guys anyways has been. I still can't believe Hayton hasn't hit the score sheet with like basically 20 points combined from the 2 wingers on his line. But certainly interested in Krause and Machelli tonight. And then I think the third line for Seattle with Yanni Gord there on the board and Bjorkstrand and Ellie Tolvanen are really sneaky in the DFS world. Okay, we have a couple more games and we're going to get out of here. We do have, let's see what we can get. Oh, not just yet. We've hit up all the games. We have a board here with the odds, so I'll bring this one up. Just take a look at the rest of the schedule. So I have a lot of people hanging out here, and I'll recap at the end, guys, with the favorite plays and the favorite picks. But I did feel like I started with what was my favorite, some props there. In Philadelphia, we had some props in the Pittsburgh and Anaheim game here. So not all the games here on the slate are tonight. We got the 3 there on the bottom and the right are tomorrow. So we didn't hit Buffalo and Carolina here. Unfortunate news for Frederik Andersen. So people could be looking for a goalie there. Antti Ranta for now. Kochetkov. I know I heard some rumblings about Halak there. Maybe potentially getting signed. So a tough go for Anderson, man. He hasn't been able to stay healthy for quite some time, but this Sabres team doesn't impress me much, Shania. Not at all. They're giving up some goals and quality chances. I thought the Flyers, even though Buffalo won one of those games, I thought the Flyers took it to them both games, really. Sveshnikov plus money here for 3 shots is going to get going, right? It just takes a couple games to get going there. Plus 100 for 3 shots. I like him for a point. It's really good value there for a point at -120 for Andrei Sveshnikov for a point. I believe he is still playing on that top line with Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis. Nope, they're shuffling again. That's what Carolina does. Noah Sinop on the top line. I still like it. Doesn't matter. Inside the top 6. Gonna get PP1 time. Even Daily Faceoff doesn't have to have him listed as PP1, but it's only a matter of time, right? You can't keep this guy down forever. So just a couple games in since suffering a significant injury, I think he gets going here. Tage Thompson's been a little bit better as well. Tage Thompson, I don't like any of the shot props on the Buffalo side. If I'm picking Carolina, I would lean Seth Jarvis and Andrei Sveshnikov, and both of those guys to pick up a point at pretty good odds around -120. And then Tage Thompson, maybe for like an anytime goal here tonight, but there's not a lot I really dig in this Buffalo and Carolina game. Moving over to Detroit and New York, we got the Rangers Rangers in action. The Rangers have been playing really, really good hockey. We talked about Mika Zibanejad starting to get on a bit of a run here. They got Blake Wheeler up on that top line. It's been a bit of a slow start for Blake Wheeler, but I will maybe dabble like for an anytime point. If it comes, it's probably an assist. If your book will allow it, he plus 350 for a goal. But Mika Zibanejad, just the 2 goals in the season, but 2 of them have come over his last 4 games. But overall, this Rangers team's playing really good. They've won 6 of their last 7 games. They only have 3 losses on the season. And Detroit's been playing pretty good as well. But I'm going to lean with the Rangers here on home ice. It's not one of my favorite bets, but since we're on the game, we'll pick it. And Blake Wheeler, 1 point on the season. It did come in his last game, and it was an assist. Maybe to get him going, put him up on that top line. You can only put Kako on that top line forever, for not forever, for so long before you got to make a switch. All right, these guys got to step up. Lafreniere's had a decent start to the season. But Kako, what's going on there? So Blake Wheeler up on that top line. I like that DeBrincat here for over 2.5 shots. I put him into a parlay with Jake Gensel. It's a DraftKings parlay. Both of those guys to have 3 shots, and it is plus 151. Jake Gensel for 3 and Alex DeBrincat there for 3. The final game, actually, there's 2 more here. There's Nashville and Calgary, and then Winnipeg and St. Louis. So we'll start here with the Blues. A little fun revenge game for Kevin Hayes, who spent a minute there with the Winnipeg Jets. I like Kyrou and Shen. I liked them the other night against the Habs. We had a same game parlay for both of those guys to hit the score sheet, and they had a couple goals. Jordan Kyrou plus 120 for 4 shots. I would just go for the shooters here tonight. Jordan Kyrou, and on the other side, Kyle Connor. But there's pretty good odds for Kyrou to pick up a point at minus 135 tonight. He's also plus 185 for the assist, but I think he scores. He's plus 137 or plus 375 for the power play point. I think I'm too excited. 10 games on the ice, no EY. I'm just going off here. Plus 195. It's a Kyrou night. So Kyrou point minus 135. Kyrou anytime goal plus 195. Power play point, little sprinkle plus 375. FanDuel is offering 13-1 for and first goal here tonight. And then Braden Shen should have some pretty decent odds for a point. Yeah, he does. Shen plus 130 for a point, plus 225 for a point. And even the shots at minus 130 it's not too bad. Just need 2 shots from him tonight. He's not a massive volume shooter, but you know what? He's had 3 in 3 of his last 4 games. So minus 130 for 2 shots tonight. It's okay. He's only got 4 points in the season, but that's the line that stood out. Maybe it was more so on the Canadians than anything at all, but that's the line that stood out to me. And they play 5 and 5 together, and they play on the power play. As for the Jets, Kyle Connor, just for EY, he gave me a couple goal scorers tonight. And of course, I told him you didn't need to tell me Kyle Connor. I think the DBC crew knows that you are in on Kyle Connor to score a goal here tonight. But Kyle Connor had 6 goals on the season. He's only got the 9 points. He's been shooting 3, 6, 5, 3, 5 over his last couple games. Like him tonight for 4. The Blues are among the leaders in scoring chances and shots allowed so far at 5 and 5 per 60. And the final game, Nashville and Calgary. I don't really have a whole lot here, but I do see that there's some value on Kadri to pick up a point. I know it's been a rough go here for the Calgary Flames. They did pick up a win the other night. I mean, the attempts have been there for Calgary over the past couple of games. I've seen a lot of urgency in their game. I thought they played really good against Dallas. They just couldn't buy a goal. But Kadri shouldn't be minus 115 for a point. I get it. I've been hard on Kadri and Huberdeau, but Kadri's got points in 3 straight games, 4 over that span, a couple power play points. So we'd like him for a point tonight at minus 115. Even a little bit of a sprinkle there at plus 225 for the Apple. That's the only Flame I'm really diving into. And I'm going to stay away from the Nashville Predators. I think, Forsberg, if you're looking for some late night action, it's always Forsberg. And he's plus 110 for 4 shots. But the Flames, they haven't been a team that's just given up a ton, right? They're still kind of like last year, very stingy. They're in, the teams that allowed the fewest shot attempts at 5 and 5, the Hurricanes, the Jets, the Oilers, right? Can't get a save. The Kings, the Devils, the Avs, the Flames. The Flames are right there. The Flyers, too, are right there. In terms of giving up the fewest shots, the Flames are also right there. Hurricanes, Rangers, Panthers, Jets, Kings, Flyers, Flames, Avs. Like, they've been good 5-5. They just, again, they cannot get the saves. Their expected goals against, it's decent at 5-5 according to Natural Stat Trick. It's like kind of middle of the pack, 2.5. But then when you look overall at the goals allowed, 3.32. It's the third highest mark in the NHL. It's the Sharks, it's the Wild, it's the Flames, the Blackhawks, the Oilers. So those two Canadian teams in Calgary and Edmonton at the moment, the 5-5 play has not been bad, but they have just not been able to score or to keep the puck out. You know, Rieger's a really good one. I was looking at him the other night in a bangers league, just seeing what the odds were for blocks. Minus 150 for 2 blocks. I mean, he probably does it. Yeah, Uyghur's a good one. Adam, I like that call. He looks kind of like, lately he looks like the defenseman that we saw in Florida. Now Rasmus Anderson is back, so you know that cuts in a little bit, but he's still logging a lot of ice time. He has 8 shots the other night, 8-3-3-3, 5-2-5. No shots in the last game, but that was just the second game Rasmus Anderson returned. Those guys are logging a lot of minutes. I mean, Rasmus Anderson 27 to 26 minutes there the other night. I don't know. I could see an upset, but I just don't really like where this Sabres team's at daily handle. I just haven't been really impressed with them. I know the Hurricanes haven't had great goaltending, but it's tough to go into Carolina, win a hockey game. I just don't like it. If you're looking for an upset tonight, I would go with, I know you guys want to say San Jose. I'll go with the Ducks. I go with the Ducks at home, playing really good hockey. Pittsburgh's been very bad. So I'd lean with Anaheim here, maybe as the upset. You know, you can get plus money on the Avs puck line. I like them in 60. You get plus money in the Flyers puck line. We like them in 60. Like the Lightning here, you can get plus money for them to win in 60. Also good odds for them to win on the money line. I'd say the Wild maybe squeak one out. I like the under in that game, but I do like the Wild, and it's basically a pick 'em there between Seattle and Arizona. All right, so we're going to recap here with a few things. The Sabres rattled. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. I suppose they are rattled with the start. I know they've mixed up a lot of their lines. They've done some things that are different, but ultimately they just can't keep the puck out of their net. All right, so we're going to recap here with some of the top plays that I have. Let's start with sides. So Philly in 60, just doing it. Just going to ride this one out, guys. So in 60 and then puck line. At some point it's going to happen, but we may just bet against them all year and they'll win 15 games and we'll profit in the other 60. So starting with sides, and then I'm going to go to Colorado. I like Colorado in 60, and I like them on the puck line as well. I just, New Jersey missing their top 2 centers. I think it's pretty decent there for the Avs. I like Tampa Bay. Money line. You can get plus money for them to win in 60 as well. The upset of the day for me is Anaheim. I like the Ducks. I think they're playing good hockey. Got to stay out of the box, but they're playing pretty good hockey. And the Penguins are just not at the moment. So I'm going to ride with quack, 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 Mr. Ducksworth. Should have rocked the Paul Kariya jersey. Anaheim. And that's it. That's really it for what I like. That's a lot for sides. I mean, we're going heavy here on Colorado, Philly, Tampa, and a little bit of a sprinkle there on Anaheim. Over for the props, Atkinson, over 2.5 shots. Atkinson for a point. We got Konechny for a point and over 2.5 shots. We got Tippett for a point and over 2.5 shots. We got Sam Reinhart. What did I just call him? It's Travis Sanheim. My goodness. I swear there's no Baileys in the coffee. But Sanheim, I got him for an assist. I like these guys to have power play points. I put it in the article, link inside the description of this video for these Flyers. Konechny, Atkinson, Tippett, all 2.5 shots, plus 375, bet 365. Konechny, Atkinson, Tippett, Sanheim, all points, plus 625. Sanheim, power play point, 4-1. Konechny, power play point, 3-1. Atkinson, power play point, plus 340. Again, the Sharks, 20 goals in their last 2 games. negative 43 goal differential, the third worst penalty kill in the NHL at 67%. If we don't get the points, we've got to get the shots, right? I think it's one of the two. Maybe we get both. Bailey's is my go-to. It's not my go-to. As I take a sip, but it's something that you could put in the coffee. I really like it come Christmas time. 'Tis the season. I definitely like a little Christmas Bailey's. George likes the bats. Nice. I had the board up just because I know that I'm freezing. And then we're going to continue here. Riley Smith for a point. And again, in the article, Riley Smith for a point. 6 goals, 11 points through 10 games. And also the Ducks, they have taken the most penalties in the NHL. We can still like them as a dog here today, but Riley Smith to pick up a point at minus 105, over one shot, minus 150, a little bit of juice there, but in the same game, in the parlay with Marco Rossi. And then for Tran over 2.5 shots, minus 130, Mason McTavish for a point, plus 115. Riley Smith for a power play point is worth your time too, I believe, because he's on that first unit, 2 PP points the other night, PTPP, plus 360 over at Bet365. Then I'll go to Hagel at minus 125 for the point. Nikita Kucherov for 2 points. We talked about the shots at 3.5. He's been shooting. Victor Hedman for a point at minus 110. Hagel for an assist at plus 175. Braden Point scores a goal. Not going to curse him, George. Victor Hedman for a power play point at plus 285. Bet365. The Habs, the fourth most penalties. They're among the leaders anyways. Certainly top 5. And the Lightning have the second best power play so far in the NHL, operating at 33.3%. So that's where I'm at for my favorite plays. I do like McKinnon for over 4.5 shots. I like Kadri there for a point. I like Lawson Krause for a point and Michelli. Like, I think those guys hook up tonight. And I think there's sneaky DFS on the other side. Ellie Tolvanen and Yanni Gord, I think sneaky DFS, but I'm going to go with Lawson Krause, the 1.5 shots. Maybe put him in with Marco Rossi. Try to find some Marco Rossi stuff there, guys, if you can. I know Varlamov's been pretty good, but up on that top line, significant ice time boost for him on a bit of a heater at the moment, playing with Kaprizov and Boldy. I like the shots. Maybe he hits the score sheet via the power player for the point. I'm in on Kyrou and Shen. I'm in on Kyle Connor. I like Alex Brinkat for over 2.5 shots. Eric Gustafsson's like maybe a decent DFS play. He's going to, log a lot of ice time there with Adam Fox out on that power play. Blake Wheeler is like a sneaky little anytime goal scorer, pick up a point up on that top line. And then Svechnikov and Jarvis for shots and for points in that one. And I think we did it. I think we wrapped up everything. Just a heads up, when Laine's back from injury, Columbus is going to go on a heater. I hope you're right, Troy. I hope you're right for your sake there. Marchenko's been pretty good there lately. Good stuff from the crew here. I think I got to everything that you guys asked. If you have any questions and I didn't get to it, at Chris Meaney on the Twitter machine, meanstreetsftn@gmail.com. If you guys could do me a solid, hop on over to iTunes, rate, review, subscribe. I know there's a lot of you guys that hang out here. I don't think we have enough 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star, whatever you want to do. Give us at least half a star. Tell me that I have too many picks and EY has too many goal scorers, and we'll take that. Thank you, George, for that. Oh yeah, EY did text me some goal scorers for today. What's he got here for me? Eric, man, come on. Okay, I'm in too many chats with Leafs fans, and they just clog up my WhatsApp. All right, I'll send you top 3 for both Tuesday and Thursday. We'll just start here with Tuesday, okay? We'll just start here for Tuesday. Tuesday's goal scorers. Tage Thompson. Anyone guess the next one? Kyle Connor. Anyone guess the next one? Philip Forsberg. Typical, classic EY. Kyle Connor, Philip Forsberg, and Tage Thompson. This is what I put in the article over at FTNBets.com. And I have a lot here too. And I ranked them in order of how I liked them. But Braden Point, of course, George had to put him on I didn't even look this morning. I wrote the article last night and I saw the graphic. I'm like, of course. Braden Point, Jake Gensel. I like Riley Smith, Frank Vatrano, Cam Atkinson, Kyle Connor, Nathan McKinnon, Cole Caulfield, Andrei Svechnikov, Jared McCann, Lawson Krause, Mika Zibanejad, and then my two guys tonight that I wrote a lot about over the weekend and in the fantasy hockey article. I think they're good pickups. Is Dawson Mercer and Marco Rossi. For the prize picks, underdog players out there: Riley Smith point, Cam Atkinson point, Owen Tippett point, Brendan Hagel point, Seth Jarvis point, Cam Atkinson over 2.5 shots. Yeah, Emmerich, you're mentioning goal scorers. I can narrow it down to my top few. I would like to go to Tampa Bay. I would like to go to Pittsburgh, Anaheim, and San Jose, and those are or Philly rather. That's where I would go for the goal scorers. And point, other point, Hagel Kucherov. Like point is my guy there, but I think that line's going to score tonight. Jake Gensel. Jake Gensel, as bad as the Penguins have been, like Gensel, Crosby, and Rust are putting a lot of pucks towards the net at 5-5, a ton of rubber. And I think that will continue tonight. So I got Gensel, but I like Riley Smith, giving him a lot of love on this show for the shots and for the point and for the promotion to the top power play for Riley Smith. And then Frank Vaccano, I don't think he's going to be able to keep this scoring pace up, but my goodness, he is just shooting the puck every night. There's something there between him and Mason McTavish. And then I'm going to Philadelphia. I think that there's clearly going to be some opportunities here for the Flyers. The hockey world will turn upside down if San Jose wins 10-0. And you know what I'm here for? We'll lose a lot of units. We'll get it back when they play the Golden Knights and the Oilers. But I still am going to follow a trend. If the points don't rack up, the attempts should be there for the Flyers here tonight. Trotz will get them playing. Cam Atkinson for the goal here. Konechny's not a bad one as well. And then, Connor, McKinnon, and Caulfield in there for some other ones. Okay, we're out. We're frozen. Something happening on StreamYard. Don't hesitate to smash the like button, though. All right, we'll chat to you guys on Thursday. Have a good one. Cheers.